Good morning. We got 1 Samuel 25, 26, and 27. It's day 107, day 107 of Blue Letter Bible app, Bible in a year. And Samuel died. So now David's lost his cover of Samuel. David and Samuel died, and all the Israelites gathered together and lamented him and buried him in his house of Ramah. Would be southwest of Jerusalem. And David arose and went down to the wilderness of Paran. And there was a man in Maon, whose possessions were in Carmel. And the man was very great, and he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. And the name of the man was Nabal. And the name of his wife was Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding and a beautiful countenance. But the man was churlish and evil in his doings, and he was of the house of Caleb. And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep. And David set out 10 young men, and David said unto the young men, Go up to Carmel, and go to Nabal, and greet him in my name, and thus shall ye say to him, Liveth in prosperity, peace, both to thee, and peace be to thine house, and peace be unto all that thou hast. And now I have heard that thou hast shearers, and now thy shepherds, which were with us, we hurt them not, neither was there aught missing unto them all while they were in Carmel. Ask the young men, and they will show thee. Therefore let thy eyes, for we come in good day. Give, I pray thee, whatsoever cometh to thy hand unto thy servants and to thy son David. And when David's young men came, they spoke to Nabal according to all his words in the name of David, and ceased. And Nabal answered David's servants and said, Who is David? Who is the son of Jesse? And there be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master. Shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers, and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be? And David's young men turned their way and went again and came and told all those sayings. So Nabal sent him off with nothing. And David said unto his men, Gird ye on every man his sword. And they girded on every man his sword. And David girded on his sword and went up after David about 400 men. 200 abode by the stuff. But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, Behold, David sent messengers out to the wilderness to salute our master. And he railed on them. Yikes. Holly Burbank, how you doing? And he railed on them. But the men were very good to us. And we hurt not, neither did we miss anything. For as long as we were conversant with them when we were in the fields, they were a wall to us. So David's men protected these guys. And these guys were a wall to us by night and by day, all while keeping the sheep. Now therefore know, consider what thou wilt do. For the evil is determined against our master and against all his household. For he is such a son of Belial, and a man cannot speak of him. Oh, yeah. Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep. So they said the guy's wicked. And 5 sheep ready dressed, and 5 measures of parched corn, and 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs, and laid them on the asses. And she said unto her servants, Go on before me, behold, I come after you. But she told not her husband Nabal. And it was so, as she rode on the ass, and she came by the covert hill, and hold, David and his men came down against her, and she met them. Now David had said, Surely in vain I have kept all this fellow hath in the wilderness. So nothing missed of all that pertained unto him, and he hath requited me evil for good. So, and more also God unto the enemies of David, if I will leave all that pertaineth to him by the morning, light any that pisseth against the wall. So that's his men. That's what I'm gonna. So he would kill all his men. And when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted off the ass and fell before David on her face and bowed herself to the ground and fell at his feet and said, "Upon me, my Lord, upon me let this iniquity be, and let thy handmaid, I pray thee, speak of thine audience and hear the words of thine handmaid. Let not my Lord, pray thee, regard this man of Belial, this evil man, even Nabal, for his name is so he, Nabal is his name, and a folly is with him. And thy handmaid saw not the young man of my Lord, whom thou didst send. Now, therefore, my Lord, as Jehovah liveth, and as thy soul liveth, seeing Jehovah hath withholden thee from coming to shed blood, from the avenging thyself with thine own hand, now let thine enemies, as they seek evil to my Lord, as be Nabal. And now this blessing which thy handmaid hath brought unto my Lord, let it be given unto the young men that followed my Lord. So I pray thee, forgive thy trespass of thy handmaid, for Jehovah will certainly make my Lord a sure house, because of the Lord fighteth the battles of Jehovah, so that David fights the battles of Jehovah, and evil has not been found in all thy days. Yet a man has risen and pursue thee and seek thy soul. But the soul of the Lord shall be bound in a bundle of life with Jehovah thy God, and the souls of thine enemies, and then ye shall sling out as the middle of the sling. And it shall come to pass, when Jehovah shall have done to my Lord according to all the good that has concerning thee, and shall have appointed thee ruler over Israel, that this shall be no grief unto thee, and no offense of heart unto my Lord, either thou hast shed the blood causeless, or that my Lord avenged himself. But when Jehovah shall have dealt well with the Lord, remember thy handmaid." And David said to Abigail, "Blessed be Jehovah, God of Israel, which sent thee this day to meet me. And blessed be the advice, and blessed be thou, which thou hast kept me this day from coming to shed blood, from avenging myself with my own hand. For in every deed, as Jehovah God of Israel liveth, which hath kept me back from hurting thee, except thou hast hasted to come to meet me, and surely there had been left unto Nabal by morning that any that pisses against a wall. So David received her, and thou hast brought him and said unto her, Go up in peace to thine house, and see, I have hearkened to thy voice, and accepted thy person. And Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he held a feast in his house like the feast of a king, and Nabal's heart was merry with him, for he was very drunken. Therefore she told him nothing, less or more, until the morning light. But it came to pass in the morning, when the wine was gone out from Nabal, that his wife told him these things, that his heart had died within him, and he became as a stone. So when she tells Nabal, David was going to come and kill you and all your men, all that pitheth on the wall. And so she was going to kill all his men. And he's like, oh. And when David had heard that Nabal was dead, okay, then it came to pass after 10 days, and it came to pass 10 days after, Jehovah had smote Nabal and he died. So 10 days later, Nabal drops dead because he is wicked. And then David heard that Nabal was dead, and he said, Blessed be Jehovah. He hath pleaded my cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and hath kept his servant from evil. For Jehovah hath returned the wickedness of Nabal upon his own head. And David sent and communed with Abigail to take her to him to wife. And when the servants of David were come to Abigail to Carmel, they spake unto her, saying, David sent us to thee, to take thee to him to wife. And she arose and bowed herself on her face to the earth, and said, Behold, let thy handmaid be a servant, to wash thy feet of thy servants of the Lord. And Abigail hasted and arose and rode upon the ass, and 5 damsels of her that went after her. And she went after the messengers of David and became his wife. And David also took Ahinoam of Jezreel, that they were all both of them his wives. But Saul had given Michal, his daughter, David's wife, to Phalthai, and the son of Laish, which was of Gileam. And the Ziphites came unto Saul and to Gibeah, saying, Doth not David hide himself in the hill of Hesh, which is before Jeshimon? And Saul arose and went down to the wilderness of Ziph, and having 3,000 chosen men of Israel with him to seek David in the wilderness of Ziph. And Saul pitched in the hill of Helash, which is before Jeshimon, by the way, but David abode in the wilderness, and he saw Saul came after him into the wilderness. David therefore sent out spies and understood that Saul come in very deed. And David arose and came to the place where Saul had pitched, and David beheld the place where Saul lay, and Abner, the son of Ner, the captain of his host. And Saul lay in the trench, and the people pitched round about him. And then David and Amalek the Hittite and Alabashi the son of Zerah, brother of Joab, who will go down with me to Saul to the camp? And Abiashi said, I will go down with thee. So David and Abiashi said to the people by night, and behold, Saul lay sleeping within the trench, his spear stuck in the ground at his bolster, but Abner and the people lay around about him. Then Abiashi said to David, God hath delivered thine enemy into thy hand this day. Now therefore let me smite him, I pray thee, with the spear, even to the earth at once. I will not smite him a second time. And David said to Abiashi, destroy him not, for who can stretch forth his hands against the Jehovah's anointed and be guiltless? David said, therefore, as Jehovah liveth, the Lord shall smite him, or this day shall come to die, or he shall descend into battle and perish. And Jehovah forbid that I should stretch out forth my hand against the Lord's anointed. But I pray thee, take now the spear that is at his bolster and the cruse of water, and let us go. And David took the spear and the cruse of water from Saul's bolster, and they gat them away, for no man saw it nor knew it, neither awakened nor they were asleep, because a deep sleep from Jehovah was fallen upon them. Then David went over to the other side and stood on the top of the hill afar off, a great space being between them. And David cried to the people and to Abner the son of Ner, saying, Answerest thou not, Abner? Abner answered and said, Who art thou that criest to the king? And David said to Abner, Thou art not a valiant man? Who is like thee unto Israel? Therefore, when thou hast not kept thy lord the king, for there came of his people in to destroy the king thy lord. This thing is not good that thou hast done. And Jehovah liveth, ye are worthy to die, because ye have not kept your master and the Lord's anointed. Now see the king's spear and the cruse of water that was at his bolster. And Saul knew David's voice and said, Is that the voice of my son David? And David said, It is my voice, my lord, O king. And he said, Whenceforth thus, my lord, thus pursue after his servant? For what have I done? Or what evil is at my hand? Now, therefore, pray thee, let my lord the king hear the words of his servant. If the Lord have stirred up thee against thee, let him accept the offering. But if they be children of men, cursed be they before the Lord, for they have driven me out this day from abiding in the inheritance of Jehovah, saying, Go serve other gods. Now therefore, let not my blood fall to the earth before my face of Jehovah, for the king of Israel is come out to seek a flea. Then, as one doth hunt a partridge in the mountains. Then said Saul, I have sinned. Return, my son David, for I will no more do thee harm, because my soul was precious in thy eyes this day. Behold, I have prayed the fool, and I have erred exceedingly. And David answered and said, Behold, the king's spear, and let one of the young men come over and fetch it. And Jehovah render every man his righteousness and his faithfulness. For Jehovah delivered thee into my hand this day, but I would not stretch forth my hand against the Lord's anointed. And behold, as thy life was set this day to this in my eyes, so let my life be much set by the eyes of Jehovah, and deliver me out of all tribulation. And Saul said to David, Blessed be thou, my son David, and thou shalt do great things, and thou also shalt prevail. David went on his way, and Saul returned to his place. And David said in his heart, I shall now perish that one day by the hand of Saul. There is nothing better for me that I should speedily escape into the land of the Philistines, and Saul shall despair of me, to seek me any more than in any coast of Israel, so I shall escape out of his hand. And David arose and passed over with 600 men that were with him to Achish, the son of Maoch, the king of Gath. And David dwelt with Achish at Gath, and he and his men, and every man with his household, even David, his two wives, Ahinoam and the Jezreelite, and Abigail the Carmelitess, and Nabal's wife. And it was told Saul that David had fled to Gath, and he sought no more after him again for him. And David said unto Achish, If I have found grace in thy eyes, let thee give me a place in the town for the country, that I may dwell there, for thy servant dwell in the royal city with thee. And Achish gave him Ziklag. In that day, therefore, Ziklag pertaineth unto the king of Judah, and to this day. And the time that David dwelt in the country of the Philistines was a full year and 4 months. And David and his men went up and invaded the Geshurites and the Gezrites and the Amalekites, for those nations were of old inhabitants of the land, as thou goest to Shur and unto the land of Egypt. And David smote the land and left neither man nor woman alive, and took away the sheep and the oxen and the asses and the camels and the apparel, and returned and came to Achish. And Achish said, Whither they have made a road today? And David said, Against the south of Judah, and against the south of the Jeremites, and against the south of the Kenites. And David saved neither man nor woman to bring the tidings to Gath, lest saying, He should tell us on this day. So did David, so did the will of his manner, and all he dwelleth in the country of the Philistines. And Achish believed David, saying, He hath made the people of Israel utterly to abhor him. Therefore he shall be my servant forever. And that is Samuel 25 through 27. So he is dwelling with King Achish in the land of the Philistines in Gath. He's going to do that for a year and 4 months. All right, guys. And I love you. We have only 3 people. We are here. I'm watching this at 5:16. It's 6:16 here. So I guess you're in the Central Time Zone. Okay. All right. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.